still on a roll with these collection videos, and I will be starting up some gameplay excuse me, footage, and that will just be filmed in front of the TV. I'll get it as close to the TV as I possibly can for now. I may get a capture card eventually, just do a whole new PC build, and when I do that, I'll probably be sometime next year. But picked up some flash cards recently for the Super Nintendo, and this is the SD2 SNES official Crix and Akari cartridge distributed by Stone Age Gamer. These are not made anymore. They're not available on the Stone Age Gamer website. I looked, and it came in several different colors, like a clear blue and red, and the gray. I think it had like maybe a black version. There was also a green version, clear green, a gold cart, clear blue. Pretty cool stuff, and these are pretty pricey, and I actually paid $40 under the retail price of this, and the seller would not sell a loaded SD card, so I had to buy that separately because I really don't know how to do that kind of stuff. Load it up, and but I will be updating the firmware on this this guy here, to the latest firmware, because the firmware I'm using is quite old, from 2012, but it works pretty well. There's the top label there. This does have a thing for connection for I think you can plug this into your computer via USB. I think that's what that's for. So I want to update this to the latest firmware and add the hacks that I've downloaded as well. Based on the feeling of this, I don't know if it's an actual Nintendo cartridge, but it does have the Nintendo logo stamped here, just like an original Nintendo cartridge. And I made sure to get the official version of this, and not some crappy Chinese knockoff. It's got a good weight to it. It does also have the flash save feature in here, and we'll be plugging this into my computer, scanning it for viruses, and actually looking at what's on it to make sure that it does save games to the flash memory device inside. This works really well, though. I have the entire American Super Nintendo library on here, a bunch of Japanese games, European versions of the US games. This does not contain any hacks. Now, I could add hacks and homebrews and all that kind of stuff to it. Really enjoying this, though. It's very convenient. I don't condone or recommend piracy, guys. I mean, if you want the game, buy the real deal, or buy it off the Nintendo eShop or whatnot, wherever it's available. I used to be into emulation. This is not an emulation, but it's close to it. And I've kind of come full circle with this, going back to playing games kind of the way I did back in 2009 when I got back into retro gaming. And I'm kind of surprised that I went this route, but it's good for convenience. It's going to save me a lot of money in the long run on super expensive games. I'll probably still buy games right now. I can't afford it. I have quite a few bills to pay off. I'm not complaining by any means, because I do enjoy the hobby, the gaming hobby. That will never go away from me, unless I lose my limbs or something. Now, this is the first version of the Stone Age Crix and Stone Age Gamer EverDrive, or EverDrive Mega Drive. This did come with a loaded SD card. Comes out of the slot there. I would take it out, but it's not as easy to put back inside as the Super Nintendo one. There's a button here to reset your game or pause your game. Yeah, it's to pause the game for Sega Master System games. Those work pretty well on here too. This is fully loaded. It has homebrews, hacks, alterations to original games. The only weird thing about this is it only works with my 6-button controller, and the controls seem like they're reversed. The directional pad does not work, or the D-pad. So maybe I think this is the X3 version. Maybe I'll upgrade to the X7, which does have flash saves. This does save the game to battery, like the normal original Sega Genesis games. Now, I don't know if I said this, but I will be investing in some capture equipment, capture card, and possibly some kind of video editing software that I can add in narration, since I cannot obtain Windows Movie Maker anymore to do that. So in the time being, I will be showing these items being played just with the camera in front of the TV. I don't want to have to do things that way. That's pretty old school, but that's all I can afford at the moment. But really loving this device. There's a whole lot of games on here, some that I haven't played, a whole bunch. And these help me discover games, and maybe I'll buy the real deals, because I do notice there is a little bit of compression on these ROMs. Now how this thing works is it's dumping the ROM off the SD card into the system, so the system thinks it's a real game. It plays pretty much exactly like the real deal, the real cartridges. I didn't notice any sound differences or anything, just barely on some games. Probably because I'm using a different system, a different Genesis that I'm used to. I'm using one that's a little bit lower quality, but I'm not complaining. These flash cards are amazing. I may buy another one for another system. That's just all depends on how much it costs. Maybe buy for 2 more systems, and I'll be covered for those systems, and buy loaded SD cards separately. So just wanted to show you guys these. Oh, and I also store my SD2 NES and a Super NES plastic case here. I just bought 2 of them. These are specifically made for Super Nintendo games. It would be kind of cool if they had added or included a spot for the manual, but these are obviously old. I could have bought 3 of them, but just 2 is enough, and I'll probably store the EverDrive in one of those. I mean, it's a little on the small side compared to a Super Nintendo cartridge, but these fit perfectly. I could even write up a manual for this thing on how to use it, and the controls. So there you go. That's my flashcard collection for now. Look forward to more videos and that have to deal with this flashcard subject.